Hi, you guys. How are you? I gotta just adjust my phone. Was just ringing. How are you guys? Okay. Welcome to the fourth and final week. Hey, Lauren, how are you? Thanks for joining me. Welcome to the fourth and final week of the Cash Injection Through Connection workshop series. I cannot freaking believe that we went through August so fast. And that we're here. We're at the fourth week that we've been doing this all month long. So I've had so much fun, you guys. Thank you, all of you who've joined me live, who's been sending me messages, who's been watching the replays. I've had such a great time this week creating and delivering this content for you guys. If any of you know me, you know this is the thing that I am so passionate, I'm so excited by. It is the thing that I know gets not just myself, but my clients crazy results. And so I really wanted to take this month to deliver it to you guys in bite-sized chunks so that you can start incorporating it in your business like ASAP. So if you are here and you're joining me, you know the usual. Let me know that you're here. Pop it in the comments and let me know that you're watching me live. And if you are watching the replay, feel free to just let me know that you're watching the replay as well. And tell me how you've been enjoying the series so far. If you haven't watched, it's all good. We've got all of the videos right here inside the group in the videos tab. You'll find all of the videos that we've covered this week. Okay, so let me dive into the topic of today. And today's topic is, we're kind of like, so let me just recap real quick. So what we did in week one was we covered the fundamental layers of connection, right? Like, so I broke down for you the three fundamental layers of connection. And week one, we covered the first layer, which was connection to your core, right? Which was being really connected to yourself. We dove really deep on the different layers within that layer. And then week two, we went into the second fundamental layer of connection, which was connecting to your business. And we talked about connecting to your message and your, your systems, your strategies, your teams, all of that behind the scenes stuff that really helps you to execute, right? And then the third week, which was last week, we talked about connecting to your audience, which is huge because that's what your marketing is all based on, right? It's based on your audience, it's based on their needs, it's based on their wants. So this week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be tying all of those pieces together. And today I want to talk about why connection-based marketing always works and why you need it more now in your business than ever before. So let me pull my notes up and make sure that I got it all set up for you guys. Okay, so here's the thing, you guys. At the root of my success and the success of so many of my clients is something that, it's not talked about enough. It's glossed over by the gurus. It's not covered in courses and all those like DIY courses that are out there. And it's definitely not taught in business school. It isn't, right? And the thing that that I can say confidently that I have not seen, and trust me, it is my job to do very good research on these things. I really know my industry well. Where do my notes go? I know my industry really well. So before I deliver any content to you guys, before I put any sort of like claims on anything, I really take the time to make sure that I am delivering things that are as accurate as possible to you. So what I know is that this that I'm talking about, it is so glossed over. Not enough people are talking about it. Business schools do not cover this. When they teach you about marketing, they don't cover this. Gurus and stuff like that out there, they're not teaching you this stuff. And I can tell you, hands down, I have seen the courses that are out there. It's not covered in these courses anyway, right? And that thing is something very simple. And that is just be human, right? Being human and focusing on connection, right? And I have been saying this all month long, and I'm going to say it again. Consumers, you guys, are smarter and are looking to feel a connection more now than ever before making purchasing decisions and investments. This is a time where things are, people nowadays, the modern shoppers and prospects and people out there, the market out there has a very, very low tolerance for salesy tactics and just these types of quick overnight success tactics and quick buck tactics, right? They shop around, they do their research, they ask around, they course hop, they read sales page after sales page. They do this before making purchasing decisions, especially, you guys, especially if it is a high ticket item, right? And most of my clients are coaches, most of my clients are service providers, and their packages start upwards of $3,000 to $4,000 and beyond. And if that is sort of where your packages are, that your consumers in your market that are out there, they really do their research before shelling out those kinds of dollars, right? And what that means is you have to really, really be doing the groundwork, laying that groundwork before you go for the sale, right? Before you ever ask them to invest in you, you've got to really be laying that groundwork by creating that connection and building that relationship with your market, right? And the best way to do that is to just be human, right? Remember that people, and I say this over and over and over, people want to buy from people. Don't ever underestimate and forget that human to human connection, because that is the thing that people are looking for more now so than ever. Recently, everyone was freaking out, right? Everyone was freaking out with the recent algorithm changes on Instagram. I think it was a week or two ago, and how expensive Facebook ads has become and how hard it is to drive traffic to your website now and all that stuff, right? And listen, know that as a business, Facebook, Instagram, Google, all those places, it is their job to test and tweak their platforms and test and tweak their marketing, right? They're not doing anything besides doing what they're supposed to be doing. But everybody's freaking out because they're not getting as much engagement. They're not getting as much likes. They're not getting as much clicks. And this is a topic this is something that's always going to happen. It's always going to change. They're always going to test and tweak. They're always going to change their algorithms. So deal with it. That's always going to happen. But just as they are looking out for what's best for their business and they're looking for what is getting the biggest results for their business, so do you, and you have to do the same for you and yours, right? And so one thing that will always stay constant, no matter what the algorithms are, no matter how things change, no matter how expensive ads get or how whatever, the platforms change and evolve, because they will change and they will evolve, right? Newsflash, that is going to happen. But regardless of all of that, one thing that stays constant, one thing that has stayed constant through all the years, and I'm going to dive into that in a little bit, is the fact that people want to buy from people. People are looking for that human connection, especially, like I said before, when they are investing in those higher dollar amounts. So if you are a service provider and your packages are 3K, 5K, 10K, 50K, whatever they are, people are looking and they really want to feel that connection before they shell out those dollars. That's why I never recommend, and it is never recommended, that you sell, packages or programs that are higher than $3,000 using webinars, because you have to get people on the phone with you. People need that nurturing. People need that connection because they know human psychology. No, that's how the human brain is wired, right? You need that extra nurturing in order to convert, right? So how do you do this, right? How do you do this in your marketing? And I want to say that, throughout this entire month, I kind of gave you guys really tangible tips on how to do that. But when it comes to connecting with your prospects and turning them into paying clients, you never want to think about it like this is something. When I was in the banking industry, I remember one of my first weeks working in the banking industry, there was a really older banker who was there. He'd been with the bank for a very, very, very long time, and just the sweetest, sweetest, nicest man. And I remember we were just having a conversation, and then he was just talking about, what has led to his success. And I remember he said something that always stuck with me. And he's like, nothing smells worse than sales breath. That stuck with me because it is true. Nothing smells worse than sales breath, right? So when you are going about creating those connections, right, and you're trying to turn your prospects and your leads into paying clients, you never want to look at it as from that like hunter going to the, trying to like going after the hunted mentality. You never want to like go about it in that very hard, aggressive sales way. Like you got to make that sale and you're so laser focused on making that sale. Now, I can have a whole conversation around sales mindset, and maybe we can do that on another live stream. If that's something you guys are interested in, you can let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to like create another live stream over that. Because yes, there is a time and place for you to really like have certain strategies in place to close the deal. Absolutely. I'm not saying that, but you never want to go about connecting with people in that way. I can't tell you how many private messages I get from people trying to sell to me and have no clue about my business, where I'm at in my journey, what I'm currently dealing with, what I'm currently not needing or do needing, that come about trying to make these connections with me. And it's like so obvious that the next follow-up to that will be a pitch, right? And nothing turns me off more than that. And I'm sure that applies to a lot of you, because it's like, you don't want to be sold to. Nobody wants to be sold to, but we do want to buy, right? If I walked into a store and I saw a pair of jeans that I really liked, and someone like grabbed me right from the door and they're like, selling to me and selling to me and selling to me, for me personally, unless it's done with integrity, because there are ways around that, if they're going about me like, I got to get this sale and this pair of jeans is, all my mercy is on her buying this pair of jeans, it kind of turns me off. I don't know about you, but for me, that definitely turns me off. But it doesn't mean that I don't want to buy the pair of jeans, right? It doesn't mean that that pair of jeans doesn't have like everything that I'm looking for. But the approach of trying to get me to that sale is the thing that loses the sale. And it's happened so many times. If you guys can relate to this, pop this in the comments. But what I want to say, just to kind of like tie that part, right? Again, if you are selling high ticket items, right? And if again, your services cost, a decent amount of money, even if it doesn't, even if you're selling a lower ticket item, connection is still something that should never be approached from that hunted mentality, right? There's actually a quote that I actually really love by Cody Bateman. And it goes something like, let me see if I remember. It goes something like, connection is more about farming than it is about hunting, right? And I love that quote, because what it basically says is that you can't go about trying to build those relationships and create those connections with your audience with that hunter mentality, right? It's really about cultivating those relationships, taking the time to plant those seeds, nurture those seeds, and watching it grow. And then when it does, you get to reap the benefits and the rewards of it, right? And it doesn't always have to take long. Like one of the things that I work with my clients is really systematically using connection as, like I said, over and over, a core marketing strategy. So it doesn't have to take months on end before that seed blooms, right? There's systematic ways in which we do this. But yes, it can sometimes feel like a slower process to some people, but because it does, but it requires consistency and it requires that patience. But you guys, it is hands down, one of the best, most sustainable ways for you to grow your business. The best, most sustainable ways for you to grow your business. I mean, and connection, as I talked about earlier this month, doesn't always look like, posting on Facebook groups and engaging in comments. There's so many different layers to it that I dive into with my clients, because again, at the end of the day, as a business, and you're selling to other business owners, or you're selling to other people, business to business, you are, at the end of the day, you're a human and you're selling to another human, right? And that's what they're looking to feel. So it is essential that you put the focus on building that trust first, right? And as I mentioned last week, the way to build that trust is to create those real authentic connections, is to stay consistent with that, is to show up and be authentic. And that is how you build trust, right? So I just want to say that, let me just pop over and see if I have any of these comments. So I just want to say that this is not me making this stuff up. This is not me just pulling this out of the hat, right? This is based on proven psychological data and principles. And the fact that the human brain, as humans, we are wired for connection as humans. Like way back, if you were to go back to way back and go back to anthropology and biology, and I'm going to spare you the whole lesson here on that, but our human brains are actually wired for connection. But as time and technology has evolved, it has made us more disconnected, right? And again, that's a whole other topic that I can talk about. But just for the purpose of this live today, I want you to know from a buying and a marketing perspective that the human brain is wired for a connection. It is in our DNA. It is who we are as humans, right? And even though the times have changed and technology has evolved, that still remains true, right? It is as fundamental, you guys, as food and water. And that is why neuroscience, and again, there's a ton of data. And if you would like, I can definitely post the research studies here inside the comments. I just want to spare you guys all the science language and all that stuff. But basically, from neuroscience perspective and a neurological perspective, right? It is confirming over and over and over again that our nervous systems wants us to connect with other people. I mean, it's kind of a beautiful thing. Like, I get really excited about it because I think that we're missing that so much in the world, and we're so wired for connection, and we're always drawn back to that, right? And so sales and marketing is no different. And again, I'm happy to provide those links if you want it. But basically what I'm really trying to say here is that there is a ton of data and science and research that shows that feeling positive, right? Feeling good, feeling connected towards a brand actually increases your influence over the loyalty you have to that brand and your desire to buy from that brand, right? And this is like marketing and psychology. It's all like a lot of data out there on that. So it's beautiful and it's funny at the same time, because despite millions and millions of years of evolution and development and technology and science and abstract thought and critical thinking, humans, we're still we still heavily rely on our emotions when making decisions, right? Because that's who we are as humans. So as a business owner, you have to keep this in mind when it comes to your marketing. As a business owner, you have to really step into knowing that about your consumers and about your marketing, and leveraging it in your business and in your marketing, right? And all of your sales systems. So what I want to say also is that it's always been this way. But it's more so now than ever, because I think what's happened is there's been a pull where for many years there was that disconnect. For many years, it was just things were very automated for many, many years, especially online. And people are so turned off from that now. People actually want to create back that connection. That's exactly why on the social platforms, they're changing their algorithms. They're changing their algorithms so that people connect more. So what does that tell you, right? If billion-dollar companies like Facebook, right, is investing data and dollars because they're seeing that their market, their users want more connection, and they're making the changes to facilitate that, what does that tell you from a business perspective for your marketing, right? Like, we've got to why recreate the wheel? We've just got to pay attention to that, right? So it's so important, you guys. And this is why I am so passionate about teaching this. It's why I love teaching my clients, my business owners, how to nail this connection piece, because you guys, connection is currency. It is currency. I think I'm going to coin that. Correct. Connection is currency. And it is more so now than ever because people are craving that, especially online. So they no longer want to, like I said before, they want to feel that connection to you, to your brand, to the thing that you're offering before they invest. Because guess what? You're not the only one out there selling what you're selling, are you? Right? Like, you want to talk about competition, it's like crazy out there, right? And not that I'm a big believer in like competition, if you will, but there's so many other people in this online space and it's so noisy. And I think if you are, marketing your business online, you can attest to that. And so this is where it's like, you've really got to be smart about how you're approaching your marketing, because people, they shop around, they do their research, and they're looking for the brand that makes them, the business owner, the person that makes them feel most of that trust, most of that connection piece, where they feel most comfortable with. They're looking for that before they invest, right? So that means that in order for you to survive, you must find a way to systematically win the trust of your prospects using connection. Like, you have to find a way to systematically do it. And I shared with you guys this entire month, like different ways in which you can start doing that. So again, like, if you didn't catch me live and you weren't able to watch any of those videos, go back inside the group and watch those recaps, or you can sign up for the register for this training, and you get all the recaps every single week. So, and you have them forever. So just know that, as a business owner, you have to do your due diligence. You have got to take the time, if you want to survive and if you want to stay in business, to figure out how to systematically connect with people at different touch points and win the trust of your prospects. And like I said before, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's worth repeating, the connection piece does not just start at the time of the sale. It has to take place throughout your entire marketing, right? So this is precisely why I created this connection-based marketing business model, you guys. It's something that I have been using connection as a core marketing strategy for years. In fact, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even realize that it was a strategy. It's just, connection has always been something I've been really strong at. It's something that comes really natural to me. It's a very, very high value of mine. So even before I owned my own business and I was, in retail, even when I had my banking career, even when I was working and running one of my dad's shops when I was, in college, I always saw the power of connecting with your people. And I always saw how that led to conversions, right? And so it wasn't even something that I really was really focusing or paying a whole lot of attention on until I started my coaching business and until I really started to dive into marketing. And so as my business has evolved and as I've supported more and more clients, I've really dialed in and I've nailed what it looks like from a marketing perspective and exactly how to build those connections through all of my marketing. And that's exactly what I help my clients do as well, right? It's exactly the process. What I do for my business is exactly what I support my clients in doing, is teaching them how to incorporate those core connection building pieces and strategies into all of their marketing. And as a result, you guys, it's led to 15K months. It's led to tripling my revenue and my clients' revenues year after year. It has led to my clients increasing their conversion rates and sales calls and on their launches in as much as 70%. Like, just think about that for a second. Increasing your conversion rates on a sales call as much as 70%. Increasing your conversion rates on launches as much as 70%, just by building in connection into your marketing strategy, right? It's also helped my clients to sell out their high ticket packages for the first time in months, sometimes years of trying, I'm just gonna say, and launching and selling out their one-on-ones and their group programs. And it's also contributed to creating a lot of passive income in business. And it's all due to not any sort of like fancy sales tactics or complicated funnels or anything like that. It's really due to focusing in on what works, right? Focusing on the 20% that brings in that 80% of results, and really focusing in on the things and dialing into what works, right? Because yes, we can do the Facebook ads. Yes, we can build the funnels. Yes, we can do all the marketing strategies and tactics. And I love that, right? But what I will say is that none of those things will work without first having that connection piece, right? So you can run the ad, but if your copy and your content and your offer doesn't build that connection, it's not going to convert. You can launch the group program and build the funnel and do all that stuff, but if you're missing those core connection building pieces, it's not going to convert, you guys. And so that's why I say always, instead of focusing on all of those complicated things out there, which doesn't have to be complicated, but I think a lot of times people focus on the wrong things and they think that those are the quick fixes that's going to help their business grow, where they're forgetting those key connection building pieces, right? And again, not that those things don't work, but it won't work without this connection piece first, right? So instead, focus on using connection throughout your business, throughout your marketing. And when it works and when it's done right, everything changes for you. And so when I say focusing on it, and I think I spoke about it earlier in the series as well, is that we want to infuse your business and your marketing strategies, everything with connection, from your content that you're putting out and your messaging, right, to your sales process and how you're actually going about those sales conversations with your people, right? And as I talked about before, I think it was last week, I mentioned that there are 3 very specific stages in the sales conversation or the sales calls that you have to be building those connections in, right? Also, you want to make sure that your launches, like I said earlier, it's just got all those connection building pieces in your funnels, because again, you can launch, you can invest in the ads, you can write all the emails, you can do all that stuff. But if you're missing those pieces, it's not going to convert, or it's not going to convert as high, right? So like I said, I am talking about everything, because as I said before, connection does not just start at this time of the sale. It's not just when you're like 2 weeks away from a launch, or you're running out of clients and you need to get a new surge of clients and you start building. That is not when the connection starts, you guys. The connections has to take place throughout all of your marketing. I will say that again. It has to take place throughout all of your marketing. It is not just at the time of the sale, right? And when it's done right, it positions you as the influencer, right? And it makes your targeted prospects feel really, really connected to you, and it builds that trust. And that's what we know based on all the data and all the science. That's what we know people need and want before they make those buying decisions, before they invest, again, especially if it's a higher ticket priced item, right? So I just want to kind of end off today and say that regardless of any of the changes that comes in the algorithms, regardless of how marketing shifts, regardless of all the noise that's out there, right? All of that is not going to change. We expect for it to get noisier, expect the algorithms will change again, expect the market will shift again, right? But at the end of the day, none of those things matter, right? None of that matter, no matter how expensive ads get, no matter how all that stuff shifts, no matter what the latest marketing tactic and social craze is. If you're not building those connections with your people and with yourself, because we talked about that being the first fundamental core layer of connection is with yourself and your business. If you're not taking the time to build those connections, you guys, and if you're not being human, right, in that connection building piece, it's going to be very difficult. I'm not going to say you're not, but it's going to be very difficult for you to see long-term results in your business. But when you are, and when you're doing it right, and you're doing it consistently, and you're doing it with integrity, you will win every single time. You will win, you will convert, and you will always make money, okay? So If you'd like to learn more how to use connection-based marketing in your business to help you increase your sales and your conversion rates, if you're trying to launch, or you've got a launch coming up, or you've got a flop launch and you kind of want to work on it and improve it, if you've got a program you're launching, whatever the case may be, and you are looking to learn how you can infuse connection or use connection as a core marketing strategy in all of your business and your marketing, I actually have a few spots now open in my 6-month coaching program. It's a private coaching program. I'm going to put it in the comments right here for you, the link for that. So if that is something that you are looking for support around, I would love to have you hop on a call with me, a free complimentary discovery call or a strategy session. And we can kind of like see where you're at right now. We can figure out what's working, what's not working, where are the gaps, and how we can fill those gaps using these core connection building pieces. So again, it's my private coaching program. I've got a few spots open for the rest of the year. It's 6 months, and we can talk about that more if you're interested in finding out more about that. I'll pop the link to booking the call with me in the comments right now. And thank you all for joining me. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And if you're watching the replay, tell me if this stuff makes sense for you. Tell me if, where you're at in your business and your marketing when it comes to connection, and, where you feel like you might be struggling. And I'll go back and I'll answer all of your comments. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow tomorrow we're actually going to talk about my CCC framework. So I'm going to see you tomorrow at 8:30. Thanks, and have a great Monday. Bye.